Greetings, I'm Barrett, and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. We are going to begin our next playthrough series, and it is going to be of Arkham Horror. Now, this is the third edition of this game, so I'm really excited to get into this game and play it. Now, there are some differences between the first and second edition when coming into the third edition. If you want to know what those are, you're going to be asking the wrong person. I actually have never played the first or second edition, so this is a completely new game to me. I'm really excited for this. I guess you could say I'm kind of an Arkham Horror newbie. I'm kind of like that person that walks into Rocky Horror Picture Show and all of a sudden tells people, oh, I've never seen this movie, and next thing I know, I'm up on top of the stage dancing around. Well, if you don't know that reference, I apologize. But this is going to be Arkham Horror. We're going to do an unboxing of it. Then after we do that, I'm going to do a quick setup video, and then we're going to get to playing this game. I'm really excited. I hope you guys are. Let's get to Arkham Horror. Now, what is inside this box? To find out, I need you to meet me at the table. Let's get to unboxing Arkham Horror 3rd edition by Fantasy Flight Games. This is going to be just a really quick unboxing video because we're going to do a setup video as well. So here's our instruction manual. I have had a chance to read through this. It seems like a lot of fun. I'm really excited for this. Our rules reference then is a great tool in case we get stuck on something I'm not exactly sure of. They have a really detailed list of all the different things that could happen to you or anybody in this game. And on the back there's also a quick reference guide if we need it. Here's all the cardboard components. I haven't undone these yet, so we're going to go ahead and rip into these. Now I'm guessing right here we have our investigators. And then here's one of our tiles for our town. And around it is a whole bunch of other little components that we're going to slowly be unpunching and get into our magic med cups of power. All right, so here's another one. These are all just going to be different towns and different tokens. And here's our streets that are going to connect everything. Here's our resource tokens. All right, and we're going to go on. This is kind of cool. This is going to be our card holder, and I'm going to show you how that works when we get to our setup video. There's all our cards. Here's some dice and our standees for our guys. Here's some of the cards. We'll go ahead and take them out and just take a look real quick. And these are going to be, again, most of this stuff you're going to see again in the setup video. So here's all the different towns, all the different towns, all different parts of the town. And then here's just a bunch of other cards. Oh, here's another type of... Listen to me. Here's a card. Here's another type of card. These all have names. I can't remember exactly all of them right off the top of my head as we go through. But here's the cards. There's another bag of cards, which is going to have some other cards in it. Do you love how many times I can say cards? Here's some more, well, you guessed it, cards. All right, and here's the investigators. We're going to get to all these cards during the setup video. And here's all the different investigators that you can be in Arkham Horror 3rd edition. And they come with their own different abilities. Here's their health, their sanity. Here's all their different skills. And they all have a little secret power, I think, as well. I'm sure they do, yes. They all have little powers on them as well. And we're going to look through and figure out what could be the best ones for ourselves. If any of these tell you that you can heal somebody, guarantee you I'm using that guy because I always like to have a healer in my group if I ever play games. Here's the different scenarios. You're like, I just threw them right back in the box. All right, here's the 4 different scenarios we can do. It basically suggests that you do this one first. So we will be doing this one. I'm sure there's other playthroughs out on the web right now that might be doing the same one. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look up too many of them, but that's really all there is. All this is just dead space. In true Fantasy Flight game fashion, they put all the little things right in here and just leave some dead space. So if you want to just eventually turn this into a box with things in different parts, you probably can. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to do that. So that's the end of this unboxing. That's Arkham Horror, the 3rd edition. We're going to go ahead and now begin setting up the game. All right, so let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is select our scenario. And like I've said before, we're going to play our approach of Astaroth. And if that's not how you pronounce it, that's okay, because it does. I get to say Hoth at the end, which is kind of fun. So we're going to also, on the back, it shows us how to set up the board and how to create our monster deck, Mythos Cup, and anything else at the end. After all the setup's done, it's found under Finalize Setup. So we're going to go ahead and create that map. All right, so if you look at our card, we are going to create our town. We're going to go ahead and put all of these down. Now, as I put these down, the reason I'm not just doing it and just then say, hey, look, there's the town, is I also want to show you they are double-sided, and it does matter which ones are which, because if you don't put the right sides down, you're going to not actually have a town. You're going to not be, it's going to be all messed up. All right, so we're going to put East Town. See, it has a little triangle symbol. You can see that. There it is. So I want to make sure we get all the right ones down. And we also have Rivertown here at the end. Now, to connect all these, we're going to be using our streets. And again, these streets do actually have a reason for going the way they do. They have these little symbols, if you can see them. I'm going to move my light a little bit. There we go. So as you can see, they've got a little symbol down here. And these symbols all represent a different way to put them onto the board. Like some of them have these little trees, some of these little lights, some have bridges. So we're going to make sure we put the right ones down in the right way. For example, we got a bridge that's going to go right here in between these two. Let's go on in. There we go. Fit in there. Rock and roll. We have another bridge that's going to go right here. Next, we have a light. It's going to go right here. Or at least I think that's a light. Looks like a light. A couple more lights. One here and one here. And then our last two are going to be the side with the forested area on them. And so it's going to go right here and right here. And voila, we have a town. The town of Arkham. With our town created, we are now going to create all the decks for it. I moved the map of Arkham up a little bit because we're going to lay out our encounter cards. We're going to be able to lay down all the ones that we have out here. We've got the streets, because we have streets after all. We also have the north side. We have downtown, east town, the merchant district, and also we have Rivertown. So with all those laid out there, that is our encounter cards. Now, like I said before, these are double-sided, so there are some encounter cards that we're not going to be using because they're not part of this map. So these will go right back in the box. All right, the next thing we have to do is make sure my arts and craft hobby skills are perfect. We have to create our card holder thing. And in case anybody's having a difficulty with it, here's a quick little, I can kind of show you. So basically the two things like this are on the bottom. You're taking your big one in the back, small one in the front. You're just going to push them in together until they hit the bottom here. And they're going to connect the other two parts just like this. And it's supposed to go in nice and easy. Come on. There we go. So now that looks, now you got something that looks something out like a pew out of church or something. You're going to go ahead and stick this thing in right like that. And it's going to be the very front of it. So now that you got this thing assembled, we're going to go ahead and prepare our event deck. Like I said. Okay, so I was supposed to have that done by the time I stopped talking. There we go. It's done. Roar! And the reason they make you create this thing is because when you're done with your event deck, when it sits in there, the reason they do it is because you're going to be drawing not only from the front, but also from the back. So that way it's easier to get to both sides of the cards. So that's the reason they actually included this. So when going to select your scenario event decks, you want to make sure you have the right one. There are 4 scenarios in this game. So when you go get your deck, it's going to actually have all these different kind of cards in it. But the biggest important thing you want to check is on the back of the card, down in the bottom corner, it does says Event Encounter, Approach of Astaroth. So you want to make sure you grab all the ones that are for that one, and you're going to shuffle them up and put them into this card holder. And like I said before, it's pretty cool because you can draw from both sides. Now that that's done, I'm going to take the event cards for the other 3 scenarios and put them back in the box. But I am going to keep them kind of separated so you have an easier access to them later. The next thing to do is create our monster deck. And it says right here on our scenario what monsters to grab. Now that we've created our encounter deck, we're going to go ahead and place any enemies at the start of the game. So we're going to put the enemy deck kind of right down there. But if we look at our scenario card, it's going to tell us to put robed figures, and it's going to tell us to put 2 of them down. So we're going to go ahead and place those onto our map. We're going to place one of them up in Independence Square and the other one down in the Black Cave. Black cave. Why couldn't they call it the happy, nice white cave with lots of light? It's always the black cave. The next thing we need to do is create a Mythos cup. Now, the game doesn't come with the Mythos cup. You have to provide your own. So I usually just use a bag of some kind, and you're gonna put little tokens into this bag, and that's gonna be quote unquote your Mythos cup. Now you could use a real cup if you want. You could go grab one from upstairs, downstairs, or wherever your kitchen is, or wherever you even keep your cups. You can just go ahead and grab one out and use that. Any cup will do, it just has to be opaque, it says. It's because you don't wanna know what you're drawing. That's no fun. To find out what is in your Mythos cup, again, we'll return to our scenario card, and it's all going to be right here. So I'm going to get these tokens and create our Mythos cup. So I've got our tokens, and this is going to become our Mythos cup. So we're going to go ahead and just keep it right there. The next thing we need to do is create a headline deck. What's a headline deck? Good question. This deck is big. You don't need this whole thing. You're going to shuffle this up and you're going to draw 13. I can't make 13 out of 5 fingers. 13 cards. So I'm going to shuffle this off camera and deal out 13. You don't need to see me shuffling. Having grabbed 13 cards, we now have our headline deck. The next thing we need to do is prepare the rest of the tokens, and there's a lot of tokens, and I put them all in my magic med cups because they're awesome. They hold tokens so well. So we have like our sanity tokens, our health tokens, our clue and doom tokens. We have resource tokens. We have different type of focus tokens. So we're going to put those out there. We also have remnant tokens as well. So those are all the different tokens. I'm actually not going to leave them right where they are right now. I just wanted to show you all the different tokens and how many there are. There's quite a lot of them. I'm kind of running out of room right here to kind of set up the game. So I'm going to remove some of the stuff so we can continue setting up. Now that I've made more room for our setup, we're going to go ahead and put our asset cards down. There's spells, allies, and we also get to put down our items deck. When we put our item deck down, we also get to draw the top 5 cards off our item deck. These become the display, and we're going to be able to buy these or gain these during encounters or when we shop at stores or something. So we're going to put the top 5 out there. We got a secret page, and we got magnifying glass. After we have these down, we're going to prepare our archive deck. Now, this is a really cool deck. In order to know if if you're looking at the deck correctly, the top cards are always going to have the numbers up in the upper left corner. Now we're going to put this down right here. The archive deck is really cool. It kind of creates the scenario or kind of evolves the narrative as the game goes. As we play, I'm guessing it's going to ask us to draw cards from this and have to deal with them. Now, of course, I'm only guessing. I'm sure people that have played the first or second edition probably know a lot of what's going on right now. This is all new to me. I'm really excited. Now we get to go on to my favorite part. We get to choose our investigator. The first investigator I've chosen is Calvin Wright. The reason I did is because, well, he's kind of got a healing power, and I said I like these healing powers. His has a power called Friend Indeed. Action, you may exchange any amount of health and or sanity with another investigator or ally in any space. He's got a little flavor text that says, I'll sacrifice everything to keep you safe. Now the rest of this kind of we'll go over as we play through the game, but he does start with 6 health and 6 sanity. Here is what he uses when he uses his skills. And he also gets a focus limit of 2, which I'll go over during the playthrough. Now when we flip our card, it also has a little bit of the story so far, which again I'll read at the beginning of our playthrough. And it also shows that he does have starting possessions. So his starting possessions are his spiritual knife, and he also gets this until the end of time. Also, it says optional, both voice of the messenger and a dark pact condition. So I will take those just because it's going to be fun. So we got voice of messenger, and then it says we have to take a dark pact card. So I'm going to mix all these up, and we're just going to take one of these. I don't know which one it is, obviously. Here we go. Shake them all up. There we go. The reason I mixed them up is because I'm not exactly sure what this is all going to do. If you look at the card, it says, Reckoning, roll 1 die. On a 1, your debt has come due. Flip this card. This die roll is not a test. It also says on the bottom, do not look at the back of this card until you are instructed to do so. So I think that's really pretty cool. So I'm not going to look at the back of that card. So now that we got his starting gear, we're going to put him over to the side. He also has a primary role and a secondary role. And his primary role is Guardian. That's another reason I took this guy, is they strongly suggest you take a Guardian and a Mystic on your first playthrough. And we're using 2 characters, so we're going to take this Guardian, and then we do have a Mystic coming in. And our Mystic is going to be Agnes Baker. I think this girl's pretty awesome too. She also starts with 6 and 6. That's another reason I took both these two. They start with the same health and sanity, so we can they'll hopefully survive. Here's all her skills and what she'll be rolling. She also has a focus limit of 2. She also has 2 powers. One is blood casting cutting. Blood cutting. It says you may suffer damage instead of horror while casting a spell. Also, she has blood is power, and while casting a spell, if you suffer damage or spend remnants, you gain +2 lore. And she also has a little flavor text that say things ain't always what they seem. And so on the back of the card, we get to see her starting gear as well. And she's my mystic. She also has a secondary role of guardian, so I thought maybe they'll both at least survive long enough to get through the game. Her starting gear is she has her heirloom of Hyperbia. So she's able to either take Flesh Ward or Storm Spirit. Now if we look at these, Flesh Ward says once per round, if you, another investigator or an ally on any space would suffer damage, you may test lore, prevent damage equal to your test result. I think that's really good. That's probably the one we're going to take, because the other one is more for fighting. It says you may test lore in place of strength as part of an attack action. So I really don't think that that's going to be that big a deal. We do have a guardian, quote unquote, so I think we're going to go ahead and take her Flesh Ward. She also starts with $3. I failed to give that to good old Calvin. Calvin deserves some bucks too, so we're going to go ahead and give him 3. Now that we've selected our 2 investigators, we're going to go ahead and put their little tokens on the board. Now normally these go into plastic standees, but I'm not going to do that for the playthrough because if they're laying on the board, it's going to be easier. Now our scenario tells us to put them into the station, the train station. And during the playthrough, it's not going to be panned out as far as this. We're going to pan in and be able to see the different parts that are going on the board. This is just a setup video. That's why it's so panned out and so far away. Now continuing with our setup, we're going to go ahead and take the top 3 cards from our event deck over here, and we are going to then put clue tokens on each one of these locations. So one on Easttown, Rivertown, and Downtown. So Rivertown, Easttown, and Downtown all get clue tokens. These are then going to be shuffled into their respective encounter decks. So for example, we're going to take the top 2 cards of our Easttown, and we're going to take this one, and we're just going to shuffle these all together until they're all good and shuffled. And then we're going to go ahead and put those back down. So our clue is somewhere in the top 3 cards. We're going to do the same thing with Rivertown. I'm going to grab 2 cards, shuffle them all together best I can. No idea where what is. There we go, just like that. Okay. And the last one's our Downtown. We're going to take again the top 2 cards from Downtown and shuffle this all together just like that. No idea. Here we go. All right, and they're going to go just like that. There, shuffling on camera is always the best thing to see. And a game in the Arkham Horror universe is not complete without Doom tokens. So we're going to take these Doom tokens and place them where the scenario card tells us to place them. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to put one at the Arkham Advertiser, the Independent Square, Velma's Diner, wonder if Daphne's there, Unvisited Isle, and the last one, of course, is going to go in the nice, happy white cave where everything's glorious. Oh no, it's the Black Cave. We're going in the Black Cave. After you place the Doom from the scenario, you are asked to draw the bottom card, the back card from this, which is why it's facing this way. See what it has that horror symbol on the back, or sorry, the Doom symbol? You're going to draw the card from the back. You're going to flip it over, and you're going to make this be your first place that you're going to put an extra Doom token, and then you're going to discard this. So it says Graveyard. And of course the Graveyard is right next to our Black Cave. Why wouldn't it be? So now this is discarded. We're just going to leave that right there. Now the last thing we have to do is go back to our scenario card and look for any last finalized setup instructions. One of them is add card 2 and 3 to the codex. Now the codex is going to be next to your scenario card. And remember those archive cards I talked about? Well, we're going to bring card 2 and 3 and we're going to read that aloud. So it says anomalies. If I can get it to stop spinning. People walk with their heads down, shoulders hunched. With each new oddity, it becomes harder to pretend that nothing is wrong. But the vanishings, the strange lights, the sightings of inhuman creatures, they are not something that can be ignored. At least, not for long. Now there is some special text that has to go with this then. It says, it shows a little doom symbol here, and it says, when a space has 3 doom or a neighborhood has a total of 5 doom, place an anomaly in that neighborhood. If additional doom would be placed in a neighborhood with an anomaly, place that doom on the scenario sheet instead. If you would resolve an encounter in a neighborhood with an anomaly, you resolve an anomaly encounter instead. When a neighborhood has 0 doom, remove the anomaly from that neighborhood. So we've gone ahead and we've grabbed all the anomaly cards, and we're going to shuffle these up and we're going to sit them next to it. Now we also have card 3 to read as well, and it says Deja Vu. Again, stop spinning please. The day dawns the color of hammered lead, with a stillness and chill that settles over the gabbled roofs of Arkham and lingers. As you go through the morning routine, you cannot shake the feeling of having done it before. The same breakfast, the same headlines in the newspaper warning of disappearances and odd goings-on, and a note in your handwriting reading, "The Demon Sultan approaches. Meet at the train station." So again, we do have 2 other things here. One's a clue symbol and one is a doom symbol again. So the clue symbol says, when there are 3 or more clues on the scenario sheet, add card 4 to the codex. Do not remove this card from the codex. It also says, when there is 3 or more doom on the scenario sheet, flip this card. I don't think we want to flip this card. I think it's going to be bad. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take our codex and our encounter, or in our scenario card, and we're going to go ahead and put them on the board. That concludes the setup video for Arkham 3rd Edition. It was a little bit longer than I expected. I didn't expect to do all those things, but it's really cool to have it all set up and ready to go. We'll be starting our playthrough with Calvin and Agnes in our next video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was informative and was able to give you an idea of how to set up the game and what actually will be coming in the game if you purchase this yourself. I'm pretty excited to play this game, and I'm really excited to see how this game works. Like I said, I never played number 1 or number 2, so this is all brand new to me. So if you want to see somebody play Arkham Horror for really the first time, this is your place to see it. What will happen to Calvin and Agnes? Will they be able to figure out the mysteries of Arkham Horror? Or will the doom take over the town and crush their souls? To find out, I need you to meet me at the table.